Now, this problem is a double right triangle problem. What I mean by this is you're told that, first of all, MDL, the triangle MDL, this angle is 90 degrees. It's a right angle triangle over here. This is a right triangle over here. And the second thing is the MDG is an altitude. It means it's perpendicular to this length over here. So of course, in this case, you've got two right triangles. One is over here and one is over here. Now, when you have these two right triangles, there is an easy and very important shortcut you want to memorize. And that shortcut is this length over here, let's call it X, is equal to this times this. So it almost looks like a T. So you can think about it like a reverse T over here, right? When you reverse it, it looks like a T. So you can think about this as a T problem. The formula is, and of course this mg is equal to 3 and then gl is equal to 24. So what's the formula? The formula is x squared. This length squared is equal to the product of these two lengths. So 3 times 24. 3 times 24. Multiply them, you get 72. So x squared is equal to 72. How do you get rid of the square root sign? Just put, how do you get rid of the square sign? I mean, you get x is equal to square root of 72. Just make a square root over here, and so therefore 4 is your correct answer. Now I've got another problem for you. Suppose that GL is still 24, right? And then instead of MG being 3, you've got MG also as 24, right? MG is also 24, GL is also 24. Now can you find the value of DG? So what's the value of DG? Of course, these won't work anymore. So try to find out what is the value of DG. Remember, all you need to do is x squared is equal to something times something, and then x is equal to square root of that value. So post your answers in the comments. This will really help you understand this type of a problem. This is a very intuitive problem. You're given that the area of triangle TAP, which I've drawn over here, is equal to 36. Now a second triangle is going to be formed. How is it formed? You're gonna take the midpoints of each of these sides of TAP. So let's say the midpoint of this is over here, the midpoint of this guy is here, and midpoint of this person is here, and then just connect them. That's how you're going to form this new triangle, whatever it's called, JOE. Now you're asked what is the area of JOE, and you're given the area of this entire piece. But intuitively, what do you think? How do these areas look? Let's count them. You got this area 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they look pretty much equal. So of course, if this entire area is 36, then what is this area? It's clearly 36 divided by 4, which is equal to 9. And then you copy down this unit here, it's 9 centimeters squared. And so therefore, 1 is the correct answer. Now here's my question for you. If the area of this triangle were 12, then what is the area of triangle TAP? Of course, this is incorrect. So post your answers. What's the area of triangle TAP equal to? So post your answer in the comments. This way, let's see if you can understand this problem better. Now, there's a very specific way to find the area of this triangle on the coordinate plane. So let's try to understand how to do this. So from this point here, from this vertex, you want to draw a vertical line like so. And then from the right side also, you want to draw a vertical line like this. So you've kind of enclosed this triangle here. Now from the bottom of this triangle, you want to draw a horizontal line like this. And from the bottom of this, from the top of this line of the triangle, you want to draw a vertical line like so. So what you've done is you've enclosed this triangle inside this rectangle here, inside this rectangle. So first of all, let's try to find the area of this rectangle. So how do you find it? How many points do you have here? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you've got 6 length over here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've got 12 points here. So 6 times 12 is equal to 72. 72 units of the entire area. Now we're going to do some interesting stuff here. We're going to subtract this part, then we're going to subtract this part, we're going to subtract this part, because they're all triangles. The thing that remains is the area of triangle ABC. So let's try to find out each of these specific triangles. So let's start counting them. So let's get started here. So you've got 1, 2, of course, you know this is 12, so clearly then I don't even need to count. This is 12, and then this is 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 over here. So you've got 12 and 3. So how do you find this answer? You've got 12 times 3 divided by 2. Why is that? Because the area of a triangle is equal to half base times height. Base is 12, height is 3. So now therefore you've got 12 times 3, which is 36, divided by 2, which gives you 18. That's this part over here. Now let's try to do this side over here. You've got this particular triangle. You've got 1, 2, 3 here, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here. So you got 6 and 3, and then you've got this particular triangle. So how do you find the area of this triangle? You've got 6 times 3 divided by 2. This is 18 divided by 2, which is 9. And then the final thing, you want to find out what is this area of this triangle. Of course, you already counted. This is 6 over here, and then this part is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 over here. 6 times 6 divided by 2. Don't forget to divide by 2 on this to find the answer. So 6 times 6 divided by 2, that's 36 divided by 2, which gives you 18. So you've got 4 parts here now. You've got these 3 triangles in green. Let's add them. 18 and 18 gives you 36 plus 9 gives you 45. So the area of these 3 triangles is 45, and this is of course 72 right up over here. So I'm just going to rewrite this. So this is 72, subtract 45 from it, and the answer of course is 27, which is your answer. Now an easy question for you. The original answer is 27, but what if you multiplied all of these? So say for instance this became negative 410, this became, I dilated this is all twice, it's 8 4, B is 8 4, and then C became negative 16 negative 2. Can you find the answer to this? Remember, you don't need to do any math, just use your logic, and we've already talked about this. What would be the answer to this if each of these points is doubled? What would be the area of each of these points if it is doubled? What would be the area of triangle A, B, C over here, the area over here? Post your answers and let's see how quickly you can solve it. So if you want to find the area of this rectangle, this is a very mini rectangle here, granted, but you can easily find this area by first finding this length, then this length, and then just multiplying them. So let's try to find this length. What is this length? Remember, you don't even have to count it. It's right over here. You've got 4 and you've got 1 here. I'll just read all this for us. You've got 4 over here and you got 1. So what would be this length? You're going to use Pythag theorem. So you see c squared is equal to 4 squared plus 1 squared. So 4 squared is 16 plus 1, that gives you 17. So c squared is 17, so therefore c is equal to square root of 17. And so this length over here is square root of 17. Now let's try to find this other length over here, this length. So to find this one, this part over here is 8 and this part over here is 2. So let's try to calculate this part over here. You've got 8 and 2. So if you have 8 and 2, then how can you find this length, c again? So you got c squared using again the Pythag theorem. Remember, this is a 90-degree angle because it's a coordinate plane. You get 8 squared plus 2 squared. This is 64 plus 4, that gives you 68. So therefore c is equal to square root of 68. So you can write this length over here, this length is square root of 68. Let's rewrite this a bit better. So this length over here is square root of 68. So how do you find the entire area of this rectangle? Just multiply these two. So you've got square root of 17 times square root of 68. But remember, square root of 68 can be written as square root of 17 times 4. I'm going to write this as square root of 17 and then square root of 4. But remember, when you have square roots and square roots, when you multiply them, the square roots vanish. So what are you going to get is just 17. This is equal to 17, and this square root of 4, you know very well, is 2. So 17 times 2 gives you 34, which gives you this as your answer. Now here's a quick test of radicals for you. Instead of these two numbers, what if this was square root of 32 over here, and then over here you had square root of 8. So this is kind of like a test of radicals for you. How can you split this into square root of 16 times what? And then this guy you can split as square root of 4 times what? And then you can basically try to find out what is this answer. Remember, this answer is just a test of your radicals knowledge so that you can apply it for geometry area problems. So this is a very important double angle formula. Remember, in this formula, it's very easy but very important. You want to remember that you've got a triangle first of all, and then you've got this as a 90-degree angle, and then on top of it you've got another angle here like this part over here, and then this also is 90 degrees. So you've got two right triangles here, right? And now how do you use this? What's the important formula that you want to remember? The important formula is this length, right? This is given to be 6, is equal to this length squared is equal to this length multiplied by this length here, this BD multiplied by DL. That's the important thing you want to remember. Remember, you want to think about it like this. You've got this triangle here, this is a right triangle here, this length squared is equal to this times this. Okay, so this top length over here is 6 and you square it, and this is equal to BD times DL. But neither of these lengths are given. What is given is DL this length is 4 times BD. So let's use algebra now. Suppose we don't know the length of BD, so let's suppose it is x. Then what is DL? DL is going to be 4x. So now 6 squared is equal to this times this, so you will just simply write this as x times 4x. Now just let's use algebra. X times x is x squared, so you'll write down 4x squared is equal to 6 squared, which is 36. Now to isolate x squared, we just divide by 4 on both sides. This is gone, so you get x squared is equal to 36 over 4, which is equal to 9. Now just take the square root of it. X is equal to 3. Now, what is given, what is asked is the length of BD. But BD we already actually assumed is x. And so therefore, you already know the value of it, which is 3. And so this is your answer. And now, my question for you is, if the length of DL is not 4 times, it is 9 times the length of DL. So remember, this is x. Then how much would this be? It's 9 times, right? So what would it be? It's going to be 9x. And now let's try to find the value of DL. So remember, you're going to use the same formula. Blah, blah, blah is equal to this times this, x times 9x. So you're going to get 9x squared is equal to blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to find x squared, and then you're going to find x. So try to find the value of x and post it in the comments. Let's see how quickly you can solve. This is a very important problem to understand. You're given a lot of information. So the most important thing that's given is over here. This f of h is given to be 9. And then you're given e of f is given to be 15. So, and also this is given to be a right triangle over here because it's the altitude. So now if you have this right triangle, let's try to find out what is this length x. First of all, we'll use Pythagorean theorem. So you've got 15 squared is equal to x squared plus 9 squared. So therefore you're going to have 225 is equal to x squared plus 81. Let's move the 81 to the other side, which means you have to subtract it. So you get 144 is equal to x squared. So then what do you think is the value of x? Is the square root of 144, which is equal to 12. So this value of 12 you're going to replace over here. So you're going to have 12 over here. So I've put in 12 over here. Now comes the other part. You're also given that this actual triangle, this red triangle, is actually a right triangle, which makes it have two triangles here. So this is the double right angle formula. Remember, what's the double right angle formula? If you think about it like this, you've got this 9, you take this 9, you square it, is equal to this 12 times this length. Let's call it a. 9 squared is equal to 12 times a. Remember, in a right triangle, it's very important to understand this. You've got this length squared is equal to this times this. So that's what we're doing here. You've got 9 squared is equal to 12 times a. And so therefore you can write this as 81 is equal to 12a. Now how do you isolate a? You divide by 12. So you get 12 over here. And so this answer is 6.75. So a is equal to 6.75. Now what are they asking? EG. So EG is very simple. It's basically the sum of this part plus this part. In other words, this plus this. So you just add 12 to this to get 18.75, and therefore that's your answer. So therefore choice 3 is the correct answer. Now you try to solve this problem, but I'm going to change the numbers on you. Let's say this value is equal to 18 and this value is equal to 30. This is a very easy problem for some of you. So remember, if this is 18 and this is 30, how would you solve this problem? This would be 30 here, then this would be 18. Then you want to find out this length first using the Pythagorean theorem. Then 18 squared is equal to whatever length you get here times this other length. Let's call it a. Then you want to find out this length a here. Then you add that to this other value that you've gotten over here, and then that's the answer that you're going to get. So otherwise, you remember that what I've given you is just a multiple of 2. So that's also another way for you to find the answer. So post your comments and let's move on. This is a very easy problem. They're saying if one exterior angle of a triangle is acute. So let's draw quickly a triangle here, and you just want to put in a number. So if this is a triangle, what is the meaning of an exterior angle? It means this angle outside it. You just simply draw it as an acute angle over here. That means this part over here is acute. Let's say, just as an example, this is 50 degrees. You can take anything less than 90 degrees. So if this is 50, then what is this measure over here? If this is 50, this has to be 180. So therefore 180 minus 50 is going to give you 130 degrees, which is greater than 90 degrees. And so therefore it is obtuse. So therefore choice 3 is the correct answer. Now my question for you is, if one of the exterior angles is right, which means it's 90 degrees, then the other triangle which must be which of these? So remember, you're just going to simply draw a right triangle over here, and this is going to be another triangle. So now think about it, which of these answers would work, and post your comments.